already.
I did
this
already.
one is going to be, so this is Jon Venables. Okay, this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is the worst crime that has like ever happened. There's kids, there's going to be kid murder, right? Is this the one, right, chat? These are, yeah, kids murdering kids. Like they're evil. They're straight evil. Apparently this is like taught in fucking books and shit in the UK because they have like 3 murders a year. So they just
Kids murdering kids?
Yeah, it's really bad. It's like
you haven't seen this, right?
I haven't seen this specific video, but I'm familiar with the case. I've seen another video of the case.
Okay.
But so yeah, without further ado, let's get started.
Let's go!
The northern city of Liverpool, England, would bear witness to one of the most shocking and horrific cases in its history.
Police on Merseyside say that 2-year-old James Bulger, who disappeared from a shopping precinct at the weekend, was horribly murdered and then dumped on a railway line. They say that someone must know the identity of the 2 boys who took James from the precinct.
Inch by inch, the police have searched the railway line where 2-year-old James Bulger's body was found yesterday. The scene is still protected from the elements for forensic work. The body itself was removed late last night. His uncle had identified him. It had been spotted earlier by 4 schoolboys playing. The blurred images of 2 youths seen taking James away are now all over the city. The public say detectives hold the key to finding them. They believe James was killed locally, then his abandoned body was hit by a train.
We know it is a murder inquiry. There's not, as we'd first hoped, we were going to find James and return him to his parents. It is horrific what has taken place, and there must somewhere be somebody who will know the identity of the 2 boys who were seen with James.
James's blue and mustard hood, seen here in a security video, has now been recovered. It had been missing from his clothing but was found nearby. Police have set up a temporary base in the shopping centre. They're warning parents that other children could be vulnerable.
For goodness sake, keep tight hold of your children. Poor James only went missing from his mother for a matter of seconds, and he'd gone and disappeared.
It was a warning heeded as parents picked up their children from school.
I've said to him that if he doesn't hold my hands, then, you know, an naughty man's going to take him and all that.
It's on your own doorstep, isn't it? I mean, I come strand every day with my kids. Of course, it's frightened everybody.
The shadow of this murder is hanging heavily over Liverpool. As flowers built up around the scene, James's family have spent the day being counselled by specially trained officers. Dozens of bunches of flowers have been laid in response to a crime whose shadow is hanging heavily over the city, the appalling murder of a defenceless toddler. James suffered truly horrific injuries, said the police, before his body was dumped on a railway and hit by a train. The discovery of his remains has led to a massive public response. Detectives are tonight studying the evidence so far accumulated. But police still haven't traced these 2 youths, photographed leading James away by a security camera. Inch by inch, officers have searched the line today, trying to establish the exact sequence and timing of events. The inquiries have gone on all day, and they've been going on all evening. The search as urgent as ever for the vital clue that will lead the police to whoever killed a helpless 2-year-old.
Today, the police investigating the murder announced a breakthrough in their inquiries.
Following the abduction of James Bulger from the New Strand shopping precinct in Bootle on Friday the 12th of February 1993, and the subsequent findings of his body on the railway line in Walton on Sunday the 14th of February, 2 boys aged 10 years from Walton area have been arrested and are currently being interviewed by Merseyside police at police stations on Merseyside.
Today's announcement came after hundreds of calls to the incident room overnight, following the first screening on television last night of an enhanced video photograph of the 2 youths seen with James. It can no longer be shown for legal reasons.
Almost 27 years later, this surveillance image remains etched in the minds of the millions familiar with the case of James Bulger.
I'm literally holding it in. I want to pause so bad. Everyone in my chat's making fun of me, okay?
I was impressed you didn't pause for that long.
Like 3 minutes and 48 seconds is probably the longest I've ever gone without pausing. Oh my God.
Hassan, I'm so proud of you.
I had to do it. I had to do it just for this stupid reason. And I'm also going to let you know that I just, like, your presence here is stopping me from doing dumbass accents that I normally would do. I'm like, 85% less bravophobic currently than I normally would be. Like normally I would just be making fun of
why
like,
are you holding back?
making fun of British people, making fun of their teeth, making fun of the fact that they have dental and yet still they just don't get that stuff fixed up. Who knows? Making fun of their accents, different regional accents.
Listen, I don't want you to hold back,
But I'm not doing that right
bullying
now.
people for their appearances and stuff. If you can definitely, if you want to bully them for their accents, you can do that.
Yeah, I would never do that. No, I'm a very nice person, and I of course would never make fun of British people.
Yeah, I was literally watching your stream right before this call, and I'm pretty sure you were trying to do some weird accents, but
What do you mean weird accent? Oh, that was a Scottish accent. No, I'm just kidding. That was a Kiwi or Australian accent. All right, let's keep going.
On the afternoon of February 12th, 1993, 10-year-olds Jon Venables and Robert Thompson would enter a shopping mall in the north.
Okay, dude, I said this before, but like, these kids are evil, dude. Look at this one's face on the left. You tell me that's not straight evil?
God.
That's a demon face. That's the type of face where you're like, you have a child like that, and you're like, all right, we got to go again. We got to go back to the fucking drawing board, okay? That's like, nope, we fucked up. Straight up, dude. I'm sorry. I know it's the kid from like, I know it's like he's 10 years old, but like, it's just demon.
These kids are so young. Like, how do you send these kids to jail? Like, how does this work?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean.
Really? 10 years old, murdering
No, this
a 2-year-old.
is what you do
Like,
here is just a late-term abortion. That's what you do. But you can't do that. So
You can't do that. So what do you do?
So you just, I don't know. You lock them away, I think. I am for rehabilitation, okay, over incarcerating people. I think our criminal justice system is horrible here in the United States, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This story is like the one example where you're like, there is no way to deal with these kids in an ethical capacity, and you will understand why when when the details are revealed a little bit further.
I hate that you already know the details.
I'm sorry. Okay, we can do one. I have one more that I don't know the details on anyway.
Yeah.
Northern part of
Let's keep
Liverpool
going.
with the intention of kidnapping a small child, something they attempted not once, but twice. Inside a department store, a woman noticed that 2 boys were trying to get her 2-year-old son's attention. Moments later, she realized he was missing. The woman began calling his name and ran outside, where she found Venables and Thompson beckoning the boy to follow them. When Venables saw the mother, he told the boy to go back to her, and they both vanished.
Still evil. I mean, this photo doesn't do it justice. Still fucking evil.
Yeah.
If you got multiple photos where you look like the kid from Omen, and also your name Damien, I mean that's a rap anyway. But like if you got multiple,
oh my God.
You got multiple photos where you look like the kid from Omen, is done. Like the parents really cucked him. Like they set him up for a lifetime of evil doing.
Like they did it on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they might as well.
Mere luck had saved that child, but also sealed the terrible fate of another. Soon after the aborted abduction, Venables and Thompson were loitering around a candy stand when they noticed 2-year-old James Bulger by the door of a nearby butcher's shop. With Bulger's mother momentarily distracted, they got the toddler to come with them. Venables then took him by the hand and led him away. James and his abductors were caught by a surveillance camera leaving the mall at 3:42 p.m. By this time, James's mother Denise was panicking. She quickly found mall security personnel and described her son and what he was wearing. They announced the boy's name over the loudspeakers, but there was no sign of him, and he was then reported missing to the local police station. After the boys had led James away from the mall, he began crying out for his mother. They ignored him and continued down to a secluded area near a canal where they dropped him on his head and left him on the ground crying. A woman passing by noticed the child but did nothing. The boys then called for James to come, and he still followed. His forehead was bruised and cut, causing his abductors to pull his jacket hood over his head to hide the injury. They then walked away from the canal and through a residential street, where one witness later reported noticing a small child crying while being forcefully led by 2 older boys. She didn't report the incident, but gave a statement 5 days later.
I've heard people saying, why didn't someone do this and why didn't someone do that? But you know, now the guilt's there. I don't think I'd ever get this guilt. I seen
Oh,
them.
you bitch.
I heard the baby cry.
No, I feel terrible because think about it, like you see two kids with another kid, you're just thinking
you
like
wouldn't
they're
expect,
siblings. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
That's true.
you would think that they're like regular siblings, they're just like fighting, whatever. Normal kid shit. Like you would never think like, oh, these 10-year-olds are fucking kidnappers. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I've never heard of a story like this where it's like actual kids doing this, the kidnapping.
It's the UK. This is what's happening, I guess.
And I watch them. Oh God, I watch them. I've got to look out this window every day. I see these kids. I go to bed and I see these kids.
A second witness also noticed the trio while driving, but only reported the incident when the story hit the front page of the national news 3 days later.
I went to the police that same day, on the Monday, and reported the incident. And I said to the police at that stage, I hope that it wasn't him, because I couldn't live with the thought that I could have done something about it.
At some time between 5:45 and 6:30 p.m., Thompson and Venables brought the exhausted 2-year-old to a railway. When they arrived, the boys hesitated, perhaps reconsidering what they were about to do, and briefly turned away from the embankment. But then they both turned back toward the privacy of the area, and the brutal torture and murder of James Bulger occurred. Eventually, the two boys placed James's dead body across the train tracks in hopes of making the whole thing look like an accident. They then abandoned the scene before a train came and severed the toddler in two. With little to go on, Bulger's parents were initially the prime suspects, but when police saw the CCTV footage from the shopping mall, the story went nationwide and the search for Bulger intensified. His body was discovered 2 days after his disappearance. An anonymous phone call to the police then implicated Jon Venables and Robert Thompson as the killers. The caller told police that Venables and Thompson were both absent from school on the Friday of the abduction. Both boys were then taken in for questioning.
He said that the two of you were in the Strand and that you saw the little boy.
We never. Is that the God's honest truth? God's honest truth, I'm telling you that we never. He was too scared. He was probably too scared.
And he said that you took him by the hand and led him out of the Strand shops.
We never. He's a liar.
Calm down.
Bro, can you imagine just like being 10 years old, just lying to a fucking adult, dude?
I'm having a hard time understanding how they even had the capacity to do this at 10. I'm so confused.
I don't know either. It's like one of those instances where like it's classified differently than antisocial personality disorder, like psychopathy or sociopathy, because they're too young and their brains haven't developed enough.
Yeah.
So in most circumstances, it's just like, what is it called in kids chat? I forget what it's called. I mean, it's called being a fucking demon, but like aside from that, obviously.
Oh my God.
A conduct disorder, right? Yeah. Where it's not even like the same classification. And the reason why this is like a very famous case is because like they changed the laws around it to like kind of dunk on these kids. I mean, they deserve it. The ending is going to frustrate you.
No.
See, I'm juicing it up though for your audience right now. Like, watch what happens next. Okay, let's keep going.
Oh my gosh. Alright, it's alright. Come on, look. It's alright. Come on, alright. I never got the boy. I never killed him, Mum. Yeah, we was, but we never saw any kids there.
Snitch.
We never wrote any
kids.
Oh
my God.
So you were in Bootle New Strand?
Was you in Bootle Strand? Yeah, but we never got a kid, Mum.
I said this before when I was I think I've seen like this video, but a different version of this. But it's wild to me that he has no problem lying to a detective, but immediately, as soon as his mom's like, "Was you in Bootle
crying
Strand?"
to his mom,
and he just fucking loses his shit. Like that's when he breaks down.
Self-reporting right now.
Yeah, maybe I'm too comfortable pausing now. Okay, we're gonna stop pausing. We're gonna keep going.
Mrs. Venables, would you? I must ask you not to get angry with it. A short while ago, as is detailed on your custody record out there. You had a conversation with your mum, and you then requested that myself and Dave Tanner come into the room. Is that right? Yeah. And what was it you told us?
That I killed James. He took him on the rail and shot and started throwing bricks at him.
Why did he throw bricks at him?
No.
Did it make him fall over?
No.
So you're saying he threw the same house brick at him, full in the face, and he didn't fall over?
Yeah, he did fall over. And he just kept on getting back up again. He wouldn't stay down.
Oh my God.
What was he saying while he was doing all this?
He was saying stay down, you stupid dick and all that.
Why did he want him to stay down?
I don't know. Wanted him dead, probably.
Just casual.
This is so deranged.
We were walking around with him and I
told
took his
you,
hand.
demons.
Well, whose idea was it to walk towards him?
Mine.
Was it? What did
Then
he
it was Robert's idea to kill him. And we went outside to the canal.
What for?
Don't know, we said let's throw him in the water. He was persuading him, he said kneel down and let's look at the water and all that, but he wouldn't. Because when we wouldn't get him down, Robert picked him up and threw him on the floor, and that's where he got his bump on his head.
Where'd you go with him after that?
The reservoir where that woman spotted us.
Is young James walking with you by this time, or are you still having to pull him?
And he was walking with us.
Was he upset, or had he made friends with you?
He was alright.
I know the truth. I believe I know the truth.
I was there.
That's right.
You waved.
This kid's fucking insane. Like, this kid is like a psycho, dude. I mean, the other one's
hate him
like,
already.
The other one immediately is like snitching, like, oh, it was my friend. And then this guy's just like, fuck you, detective.
Correct, but I know that a lot of things that have gone on.
He's like trying to debate the detective.
It was me that killed him. It wasn't. I never even killed him.
I'm never having kids. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, this is
This is terrible.
I'll be over in a few minutes if you just tell him the truth. Jim threw a brick in his face. Don't know.
Right, try and stop. Right, we're getting there, aren't we? We're getting to the truth now.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna end up getting out the plane because I've got blood on me. He grabbed the baby's hand and just walked around the strand. And then you let him go loose then.
Did he?
When we were by the church, he let him go.
And you were with John then? You shaking your head? You shaking your head?
Yeah, I told him to take him back.
You did what?
I told him to take him back.
You told him to take him
I
back?
don't know.
All right, Bobby. No, you're not getting all the blame. We're just asking your son. We're trying to find the truth.
We always get the blame.
Wait a minute, Bobby. Listen. Just calm yourself down for a minute, okay? You alright?
He said he wants us more.
So what? What did you say to him?
What did you say?
You.
We're going to try and find us, Mum.
Where did you leave him then?
On a reservoir place.
I don't believe you would have left him there. You took him away from where the reservoir is and walked down somewhere else.
Where?
Going towards the police station.
I never killed him.
The trials of Jon Venables and Robert Thompson commenced 9 months later, and they were both convicted of murder, making them the youngest to be found guilty of the offense in over 250 years.
2 days later, on Monday the 22nd of February, the boys were taken to South Sefton Magistrates Court in Bootle for a hearing. Media interest in the case was enormous. Television crews and photographers from all over the world came to Bootle to get a shot at the boys. Public anger too had been building for some time in Liverpool, both against the boys and the intrusiveness of the media. A menacing crowd gathered outside the court, waiting for the boys to come out.
So notice how they're saying let them go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think they're saying that? Do you think they're saying that because they're like, oh no, these are innocent kids?
I don't know.
Because they want to fucking murder them, dude. That's why. They're like, let him go so we can kill these fucking kids.
You think so?
100%. You'll see in a second. Absolutely.
Wait, that's so weird.
As the boys left in the transit van, bricks were being thrown, people were running up to the side of the transit van, hammering on the side with their fists.
I love that there's a chatter in here that says, what the fuck? Where are you getting this? I don't know. Maybe because they're also throwing bricks at the fucking cop car. I don't know. That's a reasonable suspicion.
Boys I know didn't like that one bit.
Yeah, they want to murder the kid. Also, we said pre-watch.
Okay, lads, come on. There's been a backlash against horror videos as Britain searches for answers in the wake of the James Bulger murder and the life sentences on his schoolboy killers. The case has already split the church and the government in a damaging row over who's to blame. But there's alarm now with a death threat from an uncle of little James.
New Flowers today marked painful memories of the Bulger trial, as politicians and churchmen blamed one another in their search for reasons for the murder. Feelings everywhere were running high today, nowhere more than in a phone-in on BBC Television's Good Morning with Anne and Nick programme, when James Bulger's uncle, who was the one called to identify the child's body, threatened to kill the two boys.
Looks to me like everyone's making excuses for them, and there is no excuses, Anne. They took the child, they battered them to death, and if they don't stay in jail forever, you ever get out?
Again, I just want to reiterate, straight up fucking evil photo, okay? This kid does not pass the vibe check. The one on the right, the one on the left seems like just like a dumb accomplice. You know what I mean? He's
giving me the mastermind.
He's giving me henchman vibes. You know, he was just like, he was the muscle of the operation. But the kid on the right, literally, straight up, just fucked vibes. Okay, not good.
We'll be waiting, and when we get hold of them, we'll kill them.
Oh, by the way, there are more details of the crime that I believe was taken out of this video, because I think the original one had like more details, but
of like what?
There were sexual things that they did to the baby as well. Yeah.
They did?
Yeah, they shoved batteries in his orifices.
Okay, I really hope these kids are like, they're lifers, right?
No, this is the UK. No, they're not. Okay, let's just keep watching.
What?
To do it, you know, but
keep watching.
What what was in their minds to do it? Obviously, we couldn't answer that question at that time.
In the Commons, some MPs, struggling to find any kind of action to express their revulsion, turned on horror videos that might have influenced the boys. The children had watched cartoons in this video shop straight after the killing. A month before, Jon Venables' father had rented Child's Play 3, a mainstream 18-rated black comedy showing a demonic doll being battered to death. The Bulger trial judge surprised the police investigating the case when he suggested violent videos may have played a part in the case. The police said they had no evidence to suggest it. However, responding to criticism, Sky Television said it's dropping tomorrow night's planned screening of Child's Play 3, while another video chain said they were burning 10,000 copies.
The youngest murderers this century were driven at speed to an indefinite future in custody, detained at Her Majesty's pleasure.
The sentence that has been passed is the only sentence that the court could pass. They recognise that, but no sentence the court could pass would ever bring James back, and nor, in their view, could it ever properly punish those two boys for what they did.
They were both given an indefinite sentence, which has no maximum, but has a minimum determined on a case-by-case basis. In this case, it was just 8 years, and despite public outrage, they would end up serving this minimum sentence, and were each released in 2001, when they were both 18 years old.
Lord Wolfe has decided the tariff should expire today. He says the boys both...
How is that possible?
Dude, it gets worse, dude. Just wait.
Way.
Just fucking wait, dude.
Are genuinely remorseful,
oh my God,
and further detention wouldn't be constructive.
It was a terrible offence, but they were only children. They were only just criminally responsible when it occurred, and it has to take into account the undoubted progress which they've made.
James Bulger's mother, Denise Fergus, said she was shocked and disgusted by the decision. It means her son's killers could be out in a matter of months.
I'll never forgive them for what they've done, never. I'll take the hate for them to my grave.
They were given new identities and granted legal anonymity for life due to the public fury that surrounded the case, and the danger of citizens hunting them down in order to take vengeance. In 2010, Jon Venables was taken back to prison for downloading child pornography of male toddlers. He served 3 years in prison and was released in 2013.
And they let him out again, dude.
To be brought back again 4 years later.
And then he went back again.
After a pedophile manual that provided instructions on having sex with kids was discovered on his computer. He was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison.
So normally, you're supposed to have an approach that focuses on rehabilitation, except for the few instances that our current understanding of medicine unfortunately cannot fix, I guess. And it's like antisocial personality disorders like psychopathy and sociopathy. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean like every psychopath is violent. Obviously, that's not the case. But they are overrepresented in boardrooms, in government, and in the prison population. However, they're incredibly hard to spot, especially criminals, and also incredibly hard to... our current understanding of it is just not advanced enough. So this is the one instance where you're supposed to just keep them under constant surveillance.
Yeah.
It's there's no saving Jon Venables. There's just no that dude is he's just a serial pedophile, murderer, rapist. He's gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, I feel especially that they're. I just don't understand how they even get that idea at 10. Did it say anywhere where they kind of did they do anything?
They said it was a child's play, the movie, but that's bullshit. Plenty of kids watch movies and don't fucking do
they don't
murders.
Actually
No, I think my speculation is I think Jon, the demon kid, I think he had a serious
traumatic event happened to him. Maybe?
No, I think he's just fucked up in the head regardless. I think he's a pedophile. I think he's a psychopath. And I suspect he manipulated the other kid, Thompson, into committing the crime with him. And that's why he's a routine offender and re-offender and kept going back into jail over and over again.
I can't believe it's real that they let him out all those times. I'm so confused.
Yeah. Someone in the chat says, not every sociopath and psychopath is violent, but clinical psychology is still in its rudimentary stages, the point where we could teach them coping mechanisms, but there's no direct treatment or cure. But then there's also the secondary problem with curing, quote unquote, psychopaths, because people that come in for a diagnosis are entirely different than criminal psychopaths that you are trying to work with in the aftermath of them doing a violent crime. And the reason why that is, the reason why that's a big problem as it pertains to treatment is because psychopaths are very good at recognizing mannerisms that show that make it seem like you're empathetic. So they can that's
act
so they're getting better. They can portray themselves as getting better, especially if they're not interested in curing themselves or treatment at all, and just more so interested in getting out. So it's a big problem in the criminal justice rehabilitation and criminal justice reform conversations too. Is just something that is constantly discuss. Is like, what do you do with these people?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I think keep them in a box. Oh, fuck.
Anyway.
I don't know if you could actually. How do you just like heal from that? How do you just become better?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Florida. I have an idea. It's called Florida. We put all the yeah. You just like send everyone to Florida, okay? Everyone that wants to just, you know, they go to Florida. You wall off Florida. You take everyone out of Florida that don't want to be there, okay? And then you just let them go buck wild. Let them loose.
In Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's keep going. It's almost done.
Hassan for president.
People are saying that this is the shortest run I've ever had on a video, and they're right. This is a 20-minute video. I would have spent like 2 hours on this, but
That's what I heard. I was prepared to spend 2 hours on one video.
Since you're here, I'm just like I'm burning through these. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen. I don't want you to change because I'm here.
No,
all right.
I can't.
Listen, we can spend 2 hours on a video and talk about it. I'm down for whatever.
All right. Well, let's finish this. There's another psychopath video that I got lined up after this one.
Let's go.
Or fearing now that someone is going to mistaken someone else's Venables and do someone who's innocent harm. That's my biggest fear now.
Do you trust that the authorities can monitor him properly?
No, definitely not. They couldn't monitor him the first time. What makes them so sure they're going to monitor him now? They haven't got a clue. I think they're not doing the jobs properly. They've got jobs there to do and they're not doing them. They let him slip through the fingers the first time round, so no doubt it's going to happen again. He got away with so much. He's going to think he's untouchable again, and he's going to go and do even worse.
That's it.
That's how it ends.
Yeah, these videos always end strangely, but
these crimes.
The show is called Loose Women.
Wait, no.
Wait, I think. Wait, what is the name of the show, chat? I think they briefly. Yeah. Look. What the fuck? Wait, why can't
LW at Loose Women.
Yeah, it's literally Loose Women, dude. Let me jump frame by frame. What a strange. This is the View for British people.
Oh
anyway, Loose Women is the Brit version of the View. Yeah, I got that. Oh my god, you need to watch Loose Women. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that's Jon Venables. So, like I said, there's a problem with treating psychopaths because they can, depict like normal emotional cues, make it seem like they're actually have gotten better, and deceive psychiatrists, even if there was like any sort of treatment available. It's a very difficult one.
Mm-hmm. Especially in kids. I can't even imagine.
Well, yeah. And for the people who are saying, like, what about the parents' liability? This is like a unique instance where I don't know if it's just like, I think one of them was from a traumatic background. I think like one experienced a lot of childhood trauma. But like I said, this is like